Hey guys, I am so excited to see you guys. I am so tired, of course, like normal, but I've been preparing for my son's birthday this upcoming week. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about how the narcissist gets tired of the new supply. They get tired of them, right? There is a video I did called the Street Cat versus the house cat, right? I suggest you watch that video before you watch this one. Otherwise, it may not make as much sense. However, okay, so when my dad came here, he had to travel like kind of like a ways, right? And I'm like, what are you doing with your two cats? One is a street cat, number one. The other one is the house cat that he actually purchased, right? And of course he like ragged on the house cat so much that I'm like, damn, he probably got rid of him. But no, this is what he did. He was like, oh yeah, you know, I got the house cat and I want to make sure he's good, so I brought him with me in his carrier and all this shit, right? And I'm like, well, what'd you do with the street cat? And he's like, oh, well, the street cat, you know, that I took in. Now, remember I said took in, right? Which means it should be in your house. No, he's like, oh, yeah, I mean, I didn't let him in. I just, you know, left him outside. I'm like, well, how is he going to eat? And he's like, well, I left, like, food under the porch and some water. You know, hopefully the ants don't get to it. I'm like, well, what if he runs away while you're gone? And he's like, oh, no, he's always there when I get back. Like, he'll be fine. He's always there. The narcissist believes that you will always be there. That's why they don't give a fuck if they go out rummaging through the trash in the streets, rummaging through whatever the fuck, right? Because they feel like, oh, you're really faithful. I mean, like, you'll be there. You know what I mean? You'll be there no matter what time I get home, no matter how many days I've been gone. Either way, I mean, I feel like you'll just always, like, be there. So, I mean, I'll just leave you a little bit of scraps to feed yourself, and you'll be okay. You're always okay. I always leave you scraps. It's good. And that's how he treated that cat. And that he took the one that was more beautiful, the one that he paid for, right? That he complained about whole time about being bougie, right? He was like, oh yeah, I took him and made sure he was with us, you know, while we travel. Him and his wife, right? Who's the headquarters supply, by the way. Anyway, oh yeah, I took that cat with me. I mean, I know he just like doesn't want to be in the house by himself. So the cat that you complained about being bougie and needing special food and all that stuff, now that cat, when you want to make an appearance that is proper to other people on the outside, that's the one that you bring with you. And the one that you really, really like, because it gives you immense and endless amounts of attention, you threw that shit in the back burner and was like, I left him some food under the porch and water. Hope the ants don't get to it. Wow. That's how the narcissist thinks about you. You are probably what they consider, and I hate using like clinical terms, but grade A supply. Supply that always gives that attention, always never fails to give good ass attention, right? The one that's winning, as I said in the street cat versus the house cat video. But yet, when they leave you for another supply, right? And when they leave with another supply, they leave you with the scraps. They feel like, you'll always be there. I mean, where are you going? You ain't going nowhere, right? I don't feel like you ever went anywhere. You're never going to go anywhere. So, all I gotta do is leave behind enough breadcrumbs to feed you and a little bit of water under the porch. Hopefully the ants don't get to it, and you'll be okay, right? That was the saddest thing ever to me. So he bought this other cat that he complained about, the cat being too bougie, with him on this road trip. And he left the one that he thought and told me was so affectionate and awesome as a street cat and winning according to him. He left it without being able to get in the house. He left it on the street where he found it. He left it with random ass food that was inexpensive under a porch. He left it with water that's probably going to get dirt and shit in it under the porch. Because he said, it's always there when I get back. I feel very bad for that cat. The narcissist thinks the same way of us. You'll always be there when I get back. It is one of the saddest things I've ever heard. This is what they don't think you're going to do. They never think that you're going to actually leave, right? Because if you're anything like me, and I'm going to admit my faults. Now, my faults were, I did take him back a bunch of times. I'm talking double-digit numbers. Not just like 1 or 2 or 3. I took him back a double-digit number of times. That is something I had to break myself out of. Sorry about my hair, y'all, but it's nighttime. I'm like bed ready, you know. Anyway, and so when I was actually serious, he didn't believe me. And I was actually serious when I said, I'm not going to be here when you get back. And not back to my home, just when you get back to that Hoover, right? And when I did it, it blew his mind to the point where he got so upset. That's where the stalking began. That's where the harassment began. Because it was so angry that he never thought that I would actually, like a child who's being abused, run away. Right? Speaking of a child being abused, running away, I'll give you one more story because when my son realized that the narc was being abusive and manipulative and hiding his toys and that I wasn't seeing it yet, he actually did run away. Just food for thought. He actually did run away. And for 17 hours, I was with Homicide calling for the dogs, the canine unit, and for helicopters, and my family was outside with flashlights, like looking for my son, to find him, because he felt like, you know, with this narc in the house, there's no chance for me. And that woke me up so much, because I didn't realize that that abuse had been happening like that. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't until my son was on the 5 o'clock news, the 7 o'clock news, as a critical case of a runaway, of a missing person. I don't know if my dad found that cat when he got back home, but he didn't even have one shred of discernment at all in his heart and soul to think that maybe if you leave this cat that you've been letting in your home, that's been living in your home, if you put him back outside on the street, not only is it going to traumatize that animal, but maybe he won't be there when you get back. And he's like, oh, well, as long as I feed him them same scraps and leave it under the porch with some water that's encrusted with wild ants, yeah, he'll be fine. He's always there when I get back. Don't be back. Don't be there when the narcissist comes back from their little vacay of fucking everyone that's not you. I didn't really want to tell you guys about the runaway story because it hurts my soul. Me and my son have an awesome relationship. I'm so glad that he's turning 13 and I got to bond with him and stuff like that. But I was a blessed parent that happened to get their child back. But if you have children, they might run away and don't make it back due to the elements of molestation, human trafficking, murderers, things like that. But I still have the flyer in my Bible that they put up in all the stores of my son that would never in a million years run away, that ran away because the narc was secretly behind my back abusing him. And so, yes, they do have an arm candy supply. I'm going to call it the arm candy supply. And that's the one that he took with him while he left the one that he love bombed, so to speak, back on the streets to eat a bunch of kibble under the porch. Don't be that one, man. That shit hurt my heart. It really did. And he assumed that it would be there when he got back. Don't be there when the narc gets back. Love you.